Welcome back. South Africans embark on various journeys across the country during the annual Easter long weekend. It's particularly a dangerous time for the year to be on the roads due to the levels of road accidents. But what makes it even more treacherous is the high number of alcohol-related accidents. So why is it that authorities simply cannot get a hold on the high levels of drunk driving? Why is this culture so entrenched? Let's now bring in Nickolaus Bauer, who's with the DG Mare Trust. He's a campaign manager for the Trust's Alcohol Harms Reduction Program. Nickolaus, great to chat to you. Thank you for making time. Every single year, Nickolaus, around this time, we see a spike in road accidents. It's always carnage on our roads around this period. What are we not getting right?
Well, Clement, you are indeed correct. First of all, happy and blessed Easter, Good Friday to you and indeed all of the viewers around the country and Newzroom Afrika land. The fact of the matter is, Clement, we seem to brace ourselves for this carnage every single Easter when it comes to avoidable road deaths. If you just look at the past 3 years alone, that is post the severe lockdown of COVID 2020, there's an average of at least 200 to 220 people that lose their lives every single Easter on South Africa's roads. Annually, that figure climbs to 14,000. And if you look at studies into the reason for such carnage on our roads, it's actually been done by the government itself. Road Traffic Management Corporation, a study of 2018, points to the fact that 27% of all accidents in South Africa's roads are caused by drunken driving. And that, 50% of the people that actually lose their lives on South Africa's roads are under the influence of alcohol when they're either operating a motor vehicle or in the motor vehicle itself. So among a host of factors, Clement, that do lead to road accidents in South Africa's roads, drunken driving unfortunately stands out as a severe cause of the carnage on our roads that results from these accidents that are by a large portion caused by drunk driving.
200 people, during this period every year, that's a big number. 27% of accidents caused by people who are drinking and driving, 50% of people dying under the influence of alcohol. There's legislation in place. What's not working? I know that there was a bill in Parliament that was given the green light. It should be in the National Council of Provinces, if I'm not mistaken. What difference can that even make?
Well, you're alluding to the Road Traffic Amendment Bill that was green-lighted by Parliament towards the end of last year, and it's currently making its way through the National Council of Provinces. That's the main legislation that governs how we operate on our roads. And a initial proposal when the bill was being considered by the National Assembly was to institute an absolute zero tolerance for drinking and driving in South Africa. So in other words, once alcohol's past your lips, you just simply don't get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. It remains unchanged now at 0.05 milliliters per 0.05 grams rather per 100 milliliters of blood. And well, the initial proposal of a zero tolerance is really just unrealistic because it enables false positives. And if someone's maybe at cough mixture, they then test positive for drinking, and it's too many legal loopholes. So essentially, it should have been changed to 0.02 and make it illegal for anybody to get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle once they've had one drink. But unbeknownst to us, it was the wisdom of our members of Parliament that decided they were going to leave it unchanged. But it's a glaring deficiency in our law, Clement, and we're hoping that the National Council of Provinces either propose to amend it, and if it comes to it, if it comes on Cyril Ramaphosa's desk that the president does not sign it into law, what's the point of putting through a change to a law that is supposed to try and protect lives in South Africa's roads if we're not doing anything about one of the main causes for this carnage, drunken driving?
And the problem here is that not only does this cause social pain for the families of these loved ones who die during these accidents, but the economic costs are also profound.
Well, indeed, that same report by the Road Traffic Management Corporation that was put forward by government a few years ago, was commissioned by government, shows that 18.2 billion rand is the cost to the fiscus annually through drunken driving, its cause and effects and that type of thing. And look, essentially, Clement, one life lost is too many. But besides the several hundred people that lose their lives on South Africa's roads every Easter, just from a monetary point of view, I mean, How many RDP houses could that fund? How many people could we put through tertiary education if we saved 18.2 billion rand every single year just by trying to govern a little better in terms of people imbibing alcohol, getting behind the wheel of a motor vehicle and thinking, Kushab, it's a festive time, we're allowed to get a little bit loose and heavy and it's going to be okay. I mean, this is something that has become essentially socially accepted and we should try and fight against it. I'm not advocating for alcohol to be banned. If you look at the figures, South Africa does have a problem with binge drinking and heavy drinking, but it's only a third of the population that does drink, Clement.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, unless we start grappling with the full effects of that, not only drunken driving, but the fact that we have one of the highest rates of fetal alcohol syndrome in the world, that, if you adjust it to today's figures, excessive drinking cost to the fiscus of 400 billion rand a year. I mean, it's astronomical, and it's high time that South Africa, its people and its government do something about it.
We cannot talk about this without also touching on the impact of corruption in all of this, because you can have, the perfect legislation, you can have police visibility in trying to deal with drinking and driving, but if you're not dealing with that corruption aspect, we're not going to go anywhere. We talk about drinking and driving, which is a phenomena and a culture that is so entrenched, but also bribing police officers when you are drunk to get a free pass is also a problem.
Well, indeed, it's very, very difficult to call on South Africans to self-govern themselves when they, when we're talking about something that's essentially against the law, drunken driving. But with it being an entrenched culture, and unfortunately, it's also leading to another problem that we have in South Africa, the bribing of law enforcement officials. Well, I mean, Clement, we need to get to how our police functions in that regard. I mean, the fact of the matter is that you're correct. It goes hand in glove. If you're unable to enforce the rules on the road, well, what's the point of having them? So alongside this call for changes to the Road Traffic Amendment Bill, DGMT, of course, advocates as well for law enforcement officers, wherever they are in the country, to enforce the country's laws without fear or favor and not succumbing to the temptation of a bribe. And indeed, as well, I should hope that not only the law enforcement officers that receive bribes and take bribes from errant motorists, but indeed the motorists themselves as well face the full might of the law and are made an example of when it comes to punishing those that take bribes and those that give bribes as well.
Yeah, takes two to tango. Nickolaus Bauer, thank you for making time.